Well, Iran is marking the 40th anniversary of the Islamic Revolution. It toppled the Shah and set in motion decades of mutual animosity with the United States. Thousands gathered at a state-organised rally in Tehran just a short time ago to hear an address by Iranian President Hassan Rouhani. The Islamic Revolution set out to bring profound religious, ideological and economic change. But do Iranians think it delivered on its promises? Our Fred Pleiken is in Tehran. He got some answers for us. So, Fred, what are Iranians telling you about what's been achieved?
Well, you know what, it certainly is one of the most controversial questions, I think, for most Iranians. You know, if you ask a lot of the people, it's an event, the Islamic Revolution that happened here 40 years ago, that transformed the lives of so many people, so many Iranians who obviously fled this country and went abroad, and then obviously also for the people who stayed here. And so a lot of people, especially those living abroad, will believe that the Islamic Revolution has not delivered on a lot of the promises that it has made. But of course, a lot of the folks who stayed here inside Iran, a lot of folks, especially at this rally that we're at here right now, they do believe that a lot of the things were delivered on. They believe that the Islamic Republic today, 40 years after the revolution, is probably stronger politically and militarily than it has been at any point since the revolution, especially right now. If you look at Iran's ballistic missile program, you look at the fact that Iran obviously has troops, for instance, in places like Syria, then those are things folks will point to. At the same time, of course, economically, this country is in a lot of problems. There was a glimmer of hope for a lot of people in 2015 with the nuclear agreement. But ever since the Trump administration has really tightened sanctions against the Iranian government and, of course, also against this country in general, the economy has been really in a downturn. The currency has been stumbling as well, and many people are in a lot of hardship. So certainly, a lot of folks will tell you it's mixed results of the Islamic Revolution, but it is certainly something, when you speak to a lot of Iranians, is a very emotional date for them, and certainly one that has really transformed the trajectory, not just of this country, but certainly of the greater Middle East region.
All right, many thanks to Fred Pleiken reporting there from Tehran. Little hard to hear, of course, but a great report. Many thanks.
Hello and welcome to GMT with me, Tim Wilcox. Huge rallies are being held in Iran to mark the 40th anniversary of the Islamic Revolution. The revolution on February the 11th, 1979, overthrew the Shah and ended more than 2,000 years of monarchy. 40 years on, and Iran has never been so influential in the Middle East as it is today, supporting militias in Iraq and Syria and the Hezbollah movement in Lebanon. The country organises the nationwide rallies every year to highlight support for the revolution. This year, the celebrations come at a time of rising political and economic pressure from the US. Addressing the crowd, President Rouhani said Iran would defeat US sanctions.
This year, we are celebrating the 40th anniversary of the Islamic Revolution at a time when the criminal US and Zionists and the other countries in the region have put our people under immense pressure and sanctions. But the presence of people all over the country today means that their plans have failed and the enemy can never fulfill its evil goals.
President Rouhani, well, our correspondent Ali Hashem reports from Tehran.
It's not the first time that Iran celebrates its revolution anniversary. Yet this year things are a bit different, with the mounting international pressure, mainly the US pressure after the US exit from the nuclear deal. Beside the internal economic crisis, both are prompting the Islamic Republic of Iran to send messages in different directions locally, saying that this revolution is still embraced by the people of this country, and externally by raising anti-American, Israeli, Saudi, British slogans to say that all these people who came to the streets of different Iranian cities back the country's foreign policy. From Inqilab Street in Tehran, Ali Hashem, BBC.
Well, reverberations of that revolution are still being felt right across the Middle East, especially in Iraq. Just last week, Donald Trump said he wanted US troops to stay in the country to keep an eye on Iran. As our correspondent Martin Patience reports, many Iraqis fear their country could become a battleground in a wider struggle.
The holy city of Karbala is the most sacred place for Shia Muslims. Millions make a pilgrimage here every year. Many are from Iran, the great Shia power of the region. And in the past 40 years, Tehran's never been so influential as it is now. And that's making America and its allies nervous. The US-led invasion in 2003 reshaped this entire region. The overthrow of Saddam Hussein removed Iran's biggest adversary. So it was America that opened the door for Iran. And Tehran's influence now stretches from here in Iraq to Syria, all the way to the shores of the Mediterranean. When the US talks about Iranian influence in Iraq, it's referring to these Iraqi men. 100,000 strong, young and old, all volunteers. These Shia militias were formed to defend their homeland from the Islamic State group. But now America views them as an extension of Iran's military reach.
The US doesn't need to be in Iraq to monitor Iran. They have advanced surveillance technologies and satellites. They know all they need to know about Iran.
Are you worried about a potential conflict between your men and American forces?
If fighting breaks out between us in Iraq, it won't be only Iraqis sustaining casualties. I wish to remind them that during the invasion and afterwards, more than 4,000 US soldiers lost their lives. And I would like to address to the American people and tell them, the lives of your boys are not cheap as well. True, we are no match to the power of the American army, but we can still inflict enough pain on it.
The Shia militias know that cost. Almost 30,000 died in the fight against the Sunni extremists of IS. For these men, it's about defending their families and their faith. One fighter tells me if they weren't here, IS would overrun the Shia heartlands. But many Iraqis now fear their country could get caught up in the wider struggle between America and Iran. Martin Patience, BBC News, Iraq.
And a crowd in Iran chanting death to America while celebrating the country's 40th anniversary since the Islamic Revolution. President Hassan Rouhani telling the crowd the 1979 revolution saved Iranians from tyranny and dependence. Brian?